everybody. I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are Pajamas. And we are embarking once again on the next episode of Squid Game, episode 3. For episode 2, a couple things. We had a very emotionally charged episode and very profound in a lot of ways. Got some backstory. We also tried something new with recording.
As stated, it was a trial and error thing.
Yeah, and it leaned towards the side of error a little too much. So it's not going to be a viable option permanently, but it is at least something we can have in our back pocket if we need. If neighbors downstairs are loud and we can't record for whatever reason, we at least have that as an option. It'll be like a break glass in case of emergency kind of thing. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens, where we go. Last time we left off, everyone got back into the gas van.
Mm-hmm. And they're being followed.
Yes, by the brother. I do hope we get some kind of game this time, though. That last episode reminded me of another series that I won't say what it was because I don't want to spoil like how it was structured. Yeah, so you ready?
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Uh-oh.
규칙을 잊었나? 상급자의 허가 없이 먼저 말하지 않는다.
깨 안 죽어. 아 그럼요. 영감님 덕분에 나갔다가 영감님 때문에 들어왔는데 먼저 가시면 안 되죠.
많이들 돌아왔니? 괜찮으면은 나도 좀 끼워주겠나?
내 밑으로 들어와. 아차하면 네 침대도 곧 아웃이야.
네 침대 걱정이나 해. Sorry.
뭐냐?
이 오빠 잘생겼네. 오빠
아줌마 뭐 잘하는데?
못하는 거 빼곤 다 잘하지. 저 꼴은 언니보다
That's a good answer.
여러모로
93%입니다.
돌아오지 않은 자들은 계속 모니터링하고 동향을 보고해.
야, 세모, 너 말고 네 위에 책임자 불러.
Uh-oh.
네모난 놈 부르라고 시키야.
Get that square over here.
그럼 내가 니들이 정한 시간에만 오줌 마렴요?
Nice.
야, 싼다. 야, 줄줄 잘 나온다.
How are they sleeping? Uh-oh.
나도 가. 뭐냐? 너 좀 거슬리는 스타일이야.
The closest we got to a Korean Karen. Let me speak to your manager.
시간 좀 끌어줘. 뭔가 알아내면 너도 알려줄 테니까.
콜. 변비가 사람 죽이네. 나중에.
Why won't it come out? Oh, look at those pots. Those are huge.
내가 컴플레인 좀 해야겠어. 물 봐, 이 개새끼야.
초코우유는 없나요? 제가 흰 우유를 못 먹어서요.
아버지한테 많이 맞았겠어.
어떻게 하세요?
우리 아들이 꼭 자네 같았거든.
You spanked for not liking milk? Not all of us can digest it.
이것도 마셔.
Aww. Oh.
두 번째 게임을 시작하기 전에 각자 앞에 보이는 4가지 모양 중
다 같이 움직일까?
그건 위험할 수도 있어. 아직 뭘 시킬지도 모르는데.
아 그럼 제가 우산 오죠 뭐. 응?
우산? 왜?
설탕 뽑기입니다. 선택하신 모양은 여러분이 뽑아야 할 모양입니다. 10번입니다.
Ooh. God, can you imagine like trying to cut and then the gun goes off and you mess up and then you're dead?
동그라미.
199번 성공.
Yay.
왜 벌써 들어왔지? 죄송합니다.
44번 성공.
착각했습니다. 왼쪽.
나갔어.
음.
212번 성공. 4번 성공. 69번 성공. 70번 성공.
Oh no.
진짜 죽여버릴 거야.
뒤로 돌아. 너같이 어린 놈이
우리가 누군지 알게 되면 죽는다.
Well, that was a game I have never heard of.
It's a very challenging one.
Yeah. Obviously, especially on whatever shape you get. And
of course, he chose the most difficult one, an umbrella.
yeah. I was thinking though before, like when they were choosing, I was like, I probably would have chosen the umbrella out of the shapes because it was like the most different. And then once the game was revealed, I was like, oh, I would be dead. This is as far as I would go in Squid Game, unfortunately.
I've actually never heard of this one before.
Yeah, me either.
But I can see how it's a game.
But apparently Song Woo has. I spent all of the last episode bragging you up. Talking about how nice you were, and he's cutthroat this time. He knew exactly what they were playing.
Yes, there's a bit of cheating involved.
Yeah.
But the question is, who is giving him information?
Like when he chose Umbrella, Song Woo was like, Umbrella? And I was like, you know what's going on. And that's why Pickpocket Lady followed him. Because obviously you would want triangle.
Which I suppose would be easier than a circle because of how flat the sides are.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, might have to be dead in this one because I would have been the umbrellas are neat and of the shapes, it was the most different. I mean, like, because I would have been like, oh, that's boring and that's boring and that's boring, but that one's cool. I'm gonna choose that one. So I'm no longer in Squid Game. Unfortunately, I got shot in the head. Sorry, I did the best I could. What shape would you have chosen?
Actually, I would have likely chosen the star because of, well, think of children's games, and I thought of wishing upon a star. And I thought, how about a star?
So you had a better chance of surviving than I did. I like how when Seong was figured out he could lick the wafer,
Yes.
everyone else started doing it too. Like everyone's like, wow.
Yes, hopefully it wasn't group mentality and they knew what he was trying to do. And yes, I think that I saw one actually start looking up and seeing that it was melting.
I mean, there's not as much to sink your teeth into in this one because it was pretty straightforward. It was just so they come back, police officer infiltrates awkwardly, I might say. I'm surprised he got that far, as he did, being as tight of a ship as it seems to be. Huge ship. Speaking of, he infiltrates the ship awkwardly, like when they're like, "Go back to the cabin." I'm like, he doesn't know where the cabin is. I would be like, okay.
Although, where all of the other masked people are going.
There was it was like him and the other two. And they just walked away after they said it. Then gets there, and they're pretty much kind of like servants almost. They do their job, and they stay in these little like prison cell looking things. And he's got an annoying neighbor who coughs all night to drive me insane. Then people start splitting off into groups.
Yes.
Which I was like, I mean, yes and no. Like they're not group activities, and
it depends on what kind of game it is.
Well,
because
yeah.
there are some games that do involve groups, but some are purely for the individual.
Yeah, I guess better to do it than not. But Another Song-woo's heel turn in this episode was when Seong asked, should we all go to the same one? And he's like, no, we should split up. And I was like, ooh.
Well, yes, that is true, because what if it was some sort of guessing game and they picked the wrong shape?
No, but he knew what the game was. So he knew what was going to happen. That's why, again, when he picked Umbrella, he was like, Umbrella? He knew. So him saying we should all go to different ones instead of saying, no, we should all go to Triangle. It's shitty of him. I mean, I get now he's playing to win. But I'm thinking, like, even with his backstory, even if he gets, all that money, he still has a warrant out for his arrest and, fraud. And is being a millionaire going to make that go away in Korea? South Korea?
Possibly, if he can make bail.
But he would still be tried for the charges. Like, they wouldn't just disappear because he was rich now. Pickpocket lady can save her family. And Seong can, help his mom and possibly, be able to see his daughter. The older guy, number one, can maybe have surgery to take care of his brain tumor and or just live the rest of his days comfortably. Even snake tattoo guy can be like king shit mob boss guy. But Song-woo, like, he literally has like charges against him. He has warrants out for his arrest.
Would it make a difference if he were to flee the country?
Oh, well, yeah, I got a point. Yeah, money will do that. Yeah, okay. Touche, Mr. Smarty Pants. No, you gotta.
Yes, he would have the funds to
he
basically make himself disappear from society.
Oh yeah, or just take a new identity or anything. Yeah, he could go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a point. I'm thinking like he leaves and then what does he do? But yes, yeah, that's probably what he would do. Yeah. And then we had who I called Korean Karen. Went to use the restroom. I want to speak to your manager. And
yes, who's apparently the square.
Yeah. And then Pickpocket follows her. So they have this interesting dynamic.
Yes.
And then she has to pretend she's taking like a big constipated, BM while Pickpocket squirrels her way through the vents. And then she sees them melting all that sugar for what will later be the wafers. Or whatever they are called. And the games begin. I thought it was amusing, though, that something as simple as cutting a shape out of something with a time limit, people were like dripping sweat. Like, I thought that was such a neat way to show tension and fear and just like you have to be in this like zoned.
Yes, it requires precision to detail, all while without any sort of pattern, guns are being fired to startle anyone.
Yes, I it's in my notes. I was like, imagine trying to cut, then a gun goes off and you mess up. You're like,
and not simply any shape, an umbrella.
Yeah, like the guy at the end who had all of it but the handle. Oh, that'd be me, because life fucking hates me and the universe hates me, and it'd be like, you're gonna cut this entire shape out, but at the very end, bang! Like I would have a cut, and then like the gun would startle me, and my needle would move into the handle and it would break. That was me. That's how I died in this episode. That character was me.
Well, you could have been able to do it were it not for the fact that these gunfires were ruining your concentration.
Yeah, see what happened there? Squid Game. It's not fair.
I actually wonder, if it were broken and as you saw them looking, could he have, if there were time, maybe melt them back together?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Maybe. But probably not, because you would have to be like hidden doing it, like how Korean Karen was with the lighter. And then she intelligently ate the evidence. Because I was like, in my head, I'm like, they're going to be able to see the edges are burnt. But if she just ate it, I was like, I mean, they could still tell that the outer part of the inside of what was in the tin was burnt, but I guess they didn't say no cheating. I don't know. They didn't say how you could do it, just to do it.
Yes, I was wondering, this is a very interesting security. They can see all of the things that they see, yet they cannot see this one person with a lighter using a needle to then cut something out.
Yeah.
And not one, but two people.
Yes. Well, her dropping the lighter for him. And then him, like, there's little things like that you would think they would pick up on. But in watching Doctor Who, I've learned to just let some stuff go. So I'll let that slide. Logistically, no. Like, they would have seen, like, logistically, the police officer that's infiltrating would have been caught already.
Was actually
way sooner.
The back of his head scanned and nothing actually seemed to appear?
I think so, yeah.
Actually, he was scanned twice. He was also scanned in the car and noticed, nothing. And that's because he isn't really one of the players.
Yeah, so apparently everyone has some kind of detection thing on them.
Somehow they didn't notice when they would have washed their hair.
But so yeah, Snake Tattoo gets the lighter, goes under the slide. Is this game normally played on a playground? Because this seems very tailored to Songwoo's memory. That's how he remembered it. On a playground with a person burning, looked like they were starting to do some heroin. Because that's my American. That's where I go with it. You're burning something and what are you doing? Don't do that. America. In South Korea, they make a tasty treat. So do we in America.
It's called something else, though.
But yeah, like I was saying, like there are some things in there like that, like the lighter, like the police officer. But at the same time, it's fine.
It's amazing what addiction can make people do. No, she didn't really need to use the restroom to actually use the facilities. No, she needed that cigarette.
Okay, yeah, so
she went through all of that simply so that she could have a cigarette.
It's funny you say that, because in my notes, which we'll get to shortly, I wrote smuggles in cigarettes. That's why I called her Korean Karen. Imagine being that addicted. I was like, imagine being that addicted to something. So we were on the same wavelength on that one. I was like, yeah, it's like
this life-threatening situation, and all that she can think about is that next cigarette.
Yeah, dang. I don't know.
Now that's something to show people, to tell them, don't start.
Yeah. Don't start, or you'll end up like the Karen in Squid Game, who had to pretend to use the bathroom so she could smoke.
But, well, it's a good thing that she happened to anyway, because then she could help the pickpocketer.
Yeah. Makes you wonder how, like, the pickpocketer would have done it.
That is a good question.
Because she was awake the entire time, so good on her. And that she used her pickpocketing skills to take that knife. To be able to unscrew the vent to get inside. But yeah, I wonder how it would have went down if Karen hadn't had to use the restroom and wanted to see the manager. And fair play to everyone that was laying there not being like, shut the fuck up! Because that would have been me. Yeah. Go to bed. Pee in a corner. Very interesting. I'm glad we got another game. So I'm glad this was a game. I assume next episode will be tension between Seong and Songwoo. Everyone lived. All the major players lived. And one thing, I forgot to mention this in the last review, because we were so tired doing that review. We talked about everyone's backstory last time. How almost everyone has some kind of like sympathetic thing to them. Because this can only come down to one. You know, I doubt they can pull a Hunger Games. Well, spoiler for Hunger Games. It's been out. Anyway, I'm not going to go on a Hunger Games rant.
Which in turn copied Battle Royale.
It did. Yes, I will not hear otherwise. It's like, at this point, it's like no matter who dies, it's going to be sad. Because we've been conditioned, especially in American media, we're shown the main character. And the main character is the eyes we see through. And normally, the main character is the one that gets to the end. So yes, Seong is our main character by default from episode 1. But we've been shown Songwoo, Pickpocket Girl, the older gentleman, Snake Tattoo guy.
More people to get invested in.
Exactly. So we have this thing where, like, if Pickpocket Girl dies, if and or when she dies, her brother is stuck in that orphanage. He's stuck there now. There's nothing. Her parents are stuck. If Seong dies, if our main character dies, his mother probably loses her feet. He loses his daughter. I mean, they'll never know. The daughter of the family will never know what happened to him. He just disappeared. Songwoo dies. His mother loses her shop, loses everything she's invested in. She is left with shame and poverty. And where does she go from there? And then older gentleman is, you know, if he dies, it's like him and Snake Tattoo guy are like the two, like if older guy dies, it's going to be sad because I like him a lot. I'm actually wouldn't be surprised if he wins because he's like the underdog right now. And he's very likable. And the actor does a great job playing the role. And then Snake Tattoo guy would be like the villain winning, but every story has to have a good guy and a bad guy. We talked about before, they were in episode 2, how they're on a spectrum. And you have Ali, I forgot to mention him, Ali being like the purest one there, and Snake Tattoo guy being like the most devious, and everyone else falls in some manner on that spectrum. And then Ali, if he dies, I assume his wife and child are already back in his home country. But then, yeah, she's without a husband and the child is without a father. And so like it's like if these people die, there are serious stakes. These are like, it's just not just like if our main character dies, that sucks. No, if main character dies, that sucks. If Pickpocket Girl dies, that sucks. If Ali dies, that sucks. If Song Woo dies, that sucks. So when this inevitably happens to some of these people, in whatever order, it's just gonna be like, oh man, because everyone has something at stake, except for Snake Tattoo Guy. He's just a dick. But you need the dick character. You need the dick character, and he does a good job. And something we haven't mentioned yet either is everyone is really well cast. Everyone is cast absolutely perfectly. I can believe these people are these characters, and I think they did a good job. Like Snake Tattoo Guy looks like a sneering, smarmy crime guy. I love the character of Ali a lot. What I really like about this, he's not from Korea. He's not Korean, but he's speaking their language. He doesn't know like fluently enough to know how to say circle in the correct way. But I like that we have someone not Korean there. And it's not your stereotypical white person. It's not like you're like foreign exchange student or someone who emigrated or, it's cool representation. I know that's a bad word to say. I think it's cool. I like it. I like that someone that's not from that country is there. But yeah, I just think it's cool. I like Ali a lot. He's the most sympathetic. He's the most innocent. He's the most, he's a nice guy. And he's being taken in by this group of people who are just being nice to him. And he's not used to that because in his time in Korea, he's been taken advantage of. Yeah, I just wanted to throw a shout out to Ali. I like him a lot. And it'll be sad when he goes too. It'll be sad when almost all of them go, except for Snake Tattoo Guy. And maybe Song Woo at this point, because I don't know. I feel like a fool now for carrying the flag for you, Song Woo. Look what you did. You broke my heart.
It does show, though, that people will actually go to do some out of the ordinary things when faced with a life and death situation.
Yeah, Song Woo's playing to win. Next episode should be very interesting as far as, because you have to think Seong's going to put 2 and 2 together. Do you want to go my notes? Okay.
Philip's notes.
So we find out that everyone is taken to the island, obviously by ferry, by boat. All the minivan things drive to there. So now we know how that was accomplished. Out of the 201 people that voted to leave, 187 came back. So only 14 opted to stay, but all of the main players came back.
Yes.
And the 14 that did not come back are still being monitored. Yes. So that's interesting.
They still know things. They've seen things.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. At first, I thought the sugar thing they were making was what was in the breakfast that they were eating because Songwoo didn't eat it. I thought maybe that was going to be like some kind of clue with the with the sugar and all that. And then they gave Ali 2 of them, and I was like, oh no, what did they do to Ali? And then that one guy found that little red piece of something. I forget what it said now.
It said honeycomb, I think.
Yeah.
It does lead me to wonder how that happened. Who gave him that information? Who put that piece of paper in the bread?
I guess that was a clue for him on what was happening with the games, but I like Songwoo's bargaining with Pickpocket Lady. He says, tell me what you saw, and I can guess the game. I'm like, what? That's not the same. I will give you facts, and in return, I will guess something.
That's a very interesting bargain.
Yeah, it's like, it was just funny the way it was worded.
Yes.
Also thought it was a little on the nose. Well, the way they did it was good, though. When they were sitting there eating, when they were talking about Songwoo and his intellect and how smart he was, and he was like the prodigy of the area that they grew up in. The whole time he's figuring it out, and he's trying to use his intellect to figure it out, and in the end he used his intellect to figure it out, but didn't share it, which seems to be a characteristic of his, being smarter than everyone but not spreading the wealth around.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of telling.
Can you imagine being spanked for something that you cannot control? Lactose intolerance.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid that, we, for example, cannot drink milk. Well, we could, but it's going to be a very bad night if we do.
Yeah.
We aren't telling our gastrointestinal system to do this. It's doing it on its own.
Right. Yeah. Is that normal in South Korea too? Let us know down below. Like, I got my ass beat as a kid for stupid shit that wasn't my fault, because that's what happens when you live with a drug addict. But I never got spanked for
not bodily function.
Yeah. And that's all for my notes. Everything else we covered. We talked about everything else. And what's left are from patrons over on Patreon. I enjoyed this one a lot.
So did I.
It was crazy, just like how much tension could be wrought from a simple little task. We are following the theme of like kids games. This was very childlike with the playground and the painting and the clouds and the
yes, they had the whole aesthetic.
yeah, whole thing going. And I am intrigued on where we go from here. We'll see if Karen can make an alliance with the pickpocket lady and or snake tattoo guy.
Like everyone else, she's doing what she can to survive in the only way that she knows how.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has their own set of skills, and hers are, you know, favors. So, fair play. But yes, I look forward to the next one.
I also look forward to it.
Wonder if we're going to get more backstory or another game or what. But
both, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So we'll just have to find out when we watch it. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Before we go, real fast, I love the music. That beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. So good. It's so simple, but it's so good. I just wanted to throw that in before we stop. All right, that's going to wrap up this episode. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.